All right. So, Hayan, I see your first item. Do you want to do a voiceover there?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Nadia just mentioned this to me today that there's a realignment of the CI/CD group. That now we're moving to ops, and there's a big restructuring happening. And I just wanted to understand how that's going to affect us, because I saw this document issue, whatever, that now Jackie responds directly to Kenny, and I was like, wait, does that mean that Jackie is moving to a different position? What does that mean to our team? And yeah.
So, from my understanding, this is just a product change. So it won't reorganize the UX assignments or the engineering assignments. So this really is just a reporting thing because Kenny now owns CI/CD and ops. But what's weird is that I'm still a part of the CI/CD family, and I'm still a part of release. This is really just my manager is now Kenny versus Jason.
Yes, but at this point, it doesn't mean that we're going to cover, let's say, more ground.
No.
Okay.
No. And in fact, I understand also that some of the ops stuff has been descoped. So for example, there was going to be 2 configure teams. Now there's only 1, and Daniel Grusso is still over that. They're reducing the monitor engineering. There'll be 1 person that moves over to secure, I think. So in the ops stage, it really is, from what I understand, they planned fiscal year 21 to build out more layers of group PMs inside each of the groups. But now that they're not expanding out, Kenny had like 2 direct reports and Jason had like 7. So they decided that rebalancing would provide a better experience for the people who live in CI/CD, but also Jason would no longer be like crucified when it comes to release post time, because I feel like he was having to review 7 different PMs content. He had to do the kickoff for CI/CD, and CI/CD is where the investment is still concentrated. So everybody on the E-team understands the value of release management. They understand the value of progressive delivery. They want to continue investing in that. And they felt that giving us a home in one place in product would make that a little bit more important.
And just to follow up on that, so you don't have the details on why your reporting manager have changed, like, because that's a really interesting point, like the fact that you and James will be reporting to Kenny, but still under CI/CD. So like, really want to understand that part. Maybe that's a good question to address to Jason or to Kenny, but just curious if you got any details on that before.
Yeah, so when I asked Kenny when he called me on Friday, he really said that it was like a load balancing thing, and that runner, package, and progressive delivery were very naturally the continuous deployment story, whereas testing and release management are more for this like ancillary or support CD features. Like you can use progressive delivery without testing or without release management. So, but you can't really use package without runner, without progressive delivery in a seamless fashion. So that's how I was told.
I see. Okay, so it's a bit more like logical grouping and load balancing at the same time.
Right. But I was really surprised. I was really taken off guard, because it seems that progressive delivery and release management are 2 sides of the same coin. One's more about the developer experience, and then release management is more about the organizational enterprise level experience. But as I understood it outside looking in, you can use release management independently of progressive delivery, and you can use progressive delivery and independently of release management. So they really are 2 separate things.
Cool. Thanks for details, Jackie. That helps a lot.
Anytime.
Yeah, because that was another news to the contribute today in the morning. There was a little bit like, okay, we need a little bit more details. But
I didn't get over the co-contributing thing yet. Yeah, my next point, we already discussed this briefly, Jackie and I. So yeah, we have the stack evaluations by front end that most of the time, or sometimes they touch the UI. So this is just a heads up for ourselves that if there is any front ender working on future things and evaluating changes on the UI, that it's interesting to co-assign UX, or in this case, me, so that we can evaluate and provide guidance there. Because yeah, most of the times, or there is a chance that the scope might change, or that I can identify something that, you know, on the component level or interaction. So to just one more step to get even closer to our front end pulse.
So in response to this, I have everything that's on the planning board and everything that's on the active board, which is I think about like 200 or so issues. I'm going to go through today and tomorrow and double check the labels, double check that if it has a front end component, we make sure that we fix that and we add the label. And then John, currently he's only triaging release P1s and P2s when they're in the scheduling column. So I'll need him to look at the ready for development columns with me and confirm that, you know, front and back end labels are applied, because today, if I was to look at the CI/CD planning and CI/CD active boards and filter by front end, there's not a lot of issues in there. So we need to make sure that front end is being applied where appropriate. So after we do that part, I should be able to add the UX label, and then we can kind of make sure that I'm not overloading you for 12.10, because I have a feeling that there's some stuff I have in my vision stuff and direction pages that might be a little bit more UX heavy than intended.
Okay, that's good. Do you think it would help if I also would go over the boards? Because right now, just for full disclosure, I'm not looking at the boards at all. I'm just looking at the issues that with like the epics for UX. Do you think that would help? Or
you know, I'd rather you just work from one place, because as a resource on my team, I want you to be as efficient as possible. So I have no expectation that you are working from the boards, to be honest. Just like with the engineering team, I really just expect them to look at the ready for development column and just pick release P1s and P2s. So I want there to be a really clear and explicit thing for you to do. And that's why we're using the UX Epic. So
awesome.
I'll groom that. I want you not to worry about process. I want you just to be able to do your thing.
So that's also what I want. So we're aligned. Awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna just jump to the issues that are in progress right now for UX and research. So the first one is the interviews that we've been conducting for the proposed release workflow changes. So this is the prototypes that we are putting in front of users and getting feedback from them. So updates there. We interviewed 2 internal customers last week. So this week we have 1 more external customer, and the next steps for me is to gather all the data and document the findings, and then send it to Lori and Jackie to review. And I also want to have a look at the prototypes to see what we can already update there, and then perhaps create issues for future improvements so that we can keep iterating on top of that. Because we already got a lot of feedback, but I don't want to change the scope of the current milestone. I think it's fine to leave the way things are for now.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that. I think what's cool is that we can do some experiments too, you know, like delivering this to the customer and then being able to schedule follow-up interviews and looking at the data usage, like looking at the usage data, I think will be really insightful for us to understand, like, are people expanding and collapsing? Are they creating more tags? Are they creating releases from the release page more? I think those are like those will be what guides us.
Yeah, and I think it will be interesting for us to get more external customers, because we've seen that, you know, the internal people, they're like, I don't want to use the interface, or I really want to use the interface. So it's
and I think a part of that is because they are, you know, build managers. So it'll be really cool when we get like actual release managers leveraging the UI, because again, like we're going into a market that GitLab isn't really built for today. So we have to do experimentation because we don't have the data to suggest that this is the right way to do. If we only listen to the technical resources that we're interviewing that we have access to today, we wouldn't be able to capture the release manager's persona. So I'm really excited to make this available front end so that we can start running.
Awesome. And then on this note, maybe we can reach out to some of the people we interviewed last year when we were building the release manager persona. Remember, Laurie, you did like those 3,000 interviews. So we got some people that are really like release managers. And I know that we already talked to quite a few people this year, but yeah, maybe we can look back at those.
I think that's a good idea.
Users. Yeah. Okay.
Even after we make that available in the front end and like retargeting those users, I think that will be a really cool thing for us to do. Full circle here. I love it. It only took a year.
Yeah. Gotta have time to go all the way around the circle.
I know. It's cool. Like that's a really long iteration, but it's cool to see that we're going to be able to close out some of that loops there, isn't it? I kind of like it.
Awesome. Cool. I just added a note here because I used to myself. Awesome. And the next topic from my side is about deployment freezes. So just an update here as well. I had this 1 hour long chat with Sean last week because I had a couple of questions about the backend. And yeah, I posted here this question to Jackie that's already answered. So if we're going to do this only on production environment or for all environments, and you say all environments. So it's good to align because Sean say, yeah, let's just do for production. And I'm like,
yeah, but unfortunately people aren't leveraging developers typically in production. They have somebody that approves the production release. So they would need to be able to like freeze out staging. Yeah. So
yeah. And okay, that's awesome. And then there's, I think you saw the comments, a lot of brainstorming, but for this one in particular.
One moment before we move on, what's really cool about that moment that we just had, the fact that you understood seamlessly that deploy freezes need to be on all environments, I feel like is really cool. Because I feel like we're in sync there. Like you understand what customer needs. I'm like, oh my God, that's so good. Okay.
I made it.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm going to update the issue description because, it has a couple of gaps. And I don't think this one has already a front end. Wait, let's see. Are they already? This is 12.10.
Yeah.
There is. So I'm not going to change the scope. I'm just going to update the description. Okay.
Right.
Cool. Yeah, because Sean gave like awesome insight, and I think he also saw like ideas for future
stuff. He's created a ton of issues for that. I mean, Sean and Nathan are like my two apple of my eyes. They're just amazing. They're always like, I'm like, oh, I love you guys.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. Yeah, that's it. And then next topic, it's about what is a priority for the issues, and you're ready.
Yeah. Here. So breaking out just to voice over here, I think we should tease out the create release stuff. If it really is like super easy, kind of almost like copy paste code from the edit stuff, and it's more just like adding one attribute to these additional views that we create, then I feel like we can knock this out simultaneous to the deploy freeze work that's in 12.10. If it's not, then we might want to evaluate if we push out the CI/CD dashboard to 13.1 and really focus on creating a comprehensive release experience in 13.0. So like our big splash in that release is you get to manage and orchestrate your releases by 13.0 in the front end. So I feel like,
that makes sense. And I was going to suggest that perhaps if it's a matter, like if it's really a technicality for Nathan, maybe he can pick up like both create and edit of, I don't know, milestones on the release. You know, we create two issues, but that he just work on both views at once instead of us delivering everything on edit and everything. Yeah, I think that makes more sense.
I feel like we should be doing create edit at the same time, because whenever I was this weekend, when I started playing with the API, like you're able to do all that shit at once in the API. So if we start to like emulate the API's experience in the front end, we are going to want to do both.
That makes sense. So then I'm going to go just look at the first off, maybe I'll just chat with Nathan today
Yeah,
to see,
that
okay,
sounds good.
what's the deal? And I'm going to start breaking down the things, because in any case, it's two merge requests for him. So it's two different efforts. Wow.
Okay.
And yeah, deploy freeze. I think everything. I actually left a comment there. You can leave the design column, and then CICD dashboards. You need to start looking into it.
And I moved the deploy freeze one already, so I think we're in good shape there. And then the CI/CD dashboard, I really hope that like it's like a plug and play chart thing. What I think we need to research is the aggregation of metrics at the project level onto the group level. So I'm gonna create that issue for Sean or Kraz or somebody to take up, and then we'll go from there.
Awesome. Perfect. And I just saw your last comment here that, yeah, we have those issues that the scope is well defined. We had a conversation about those things. It's in the comments, but it's not in the issue description.
We just
so,
need to, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's with those two issues. So just a heads up, I already mentioned to them in the issue description, but if you can also voice this so that developers can update their
Yeah,
piece of
I'll do
information.
that for sure. Okay,
Awesome.
perfect.
We made it.
Awesome.
That's it.
That's it. Anything else?
Mm-mm.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Thank you all so much.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.